be king, and you will be queen. No, nothing will drive them away. Hey, we can be there just for one day. We can be here just for one day. We can be heroes. We can be heroes. I wish I could swim. Dolphins can swim. Nothing will keep us together. But we could be heroes just for one day. We can be heroes. We can be heroes. I can remember standing by the wall and the gun shot above our heads. We could be heroes just for one day. We can be We could be heroes. One day.
Good evening. They really say pictures can tell thousands of words. Join us tonight on Loose Links as we will be sharing how we still remember in the year of 2021 and if the poppy still really is important, and a hell of a lot more on this week's Loose Links. Hello, welcome to the show. Welcome to Tuesday's Fun as we are a brand new panel ready to talk all over again. Joining me and keeping you entertained for the next hour, Nicholas James, is Mandy Stannard. MJ Hitwell. And she's going to hate me for this, but the Queen of Liverpool is back. Gary Gillespie.
Taking the mickey there, mate.
Good evening, everybody. As we discussed tonight, the remembrance, and is it still really important in the year of 2021? Find out what we think. We also share a story in Lincolnshire this week about a boy wanting to be vaccinated, but his mum's against it. What should the court do? Find out on our view on that. We also talk about food, as in somewhere in Lincolnshire has built a cathedral-sized burger. But are we too heavy on fast food nowadays? And are we just getting a bit of a fat nation? Also, we finish on the subject of the national British anthem, the UK's national anthem, as a TikToker has given a new song for it. But is it really out-fashioned? Do we really need to update the national anthem? Find out our view on that. All that on tonight's show. Good evening, panel! Hi, Josie! So good to have you back. How are you doing?
Been all right up until today.
It's been a long time since we've seen you on screen. I think this is your first view on Series 3.
It is, yeah.
Your first view on Series 3, where we're at like episode 11 and you finally come back.
I've quietened down a lot since last time.
We'll see. Let's see if we can get you argumentative. Let's see if we get there. As always, thank you. Can I just say thank you? This week, our social media has gone crazy. Thank you so much for joining in with all the poll results, everything that's gone up. It's really important that you have your say as well as ours. So we will share this week's polls to begin with you guys. So the first poll was... was exercise. Is it high priority in your day-to-day life? 22% of you said yes. 37% of you said no, and 41% of you say it's all in my head, but life takes over. Have we got any comments on that?
Yeah, there's one from Sandra, and she says, I walk, the best exercise. I'm not into the gym.
We all like to think we're good at the gym, don't we? But actually, we all spend thousands of pounds at the gym, but never actually enter the world of the gym. We had a controversial poll this week, so we had some controversial comments, so we're going to leave comments out in this show, but thank you for commenting if you did comment. Is racism within sport getting worse? 58% of you said yes. Now that really shocked me because I thought it was getting better, but 58% of you said yes, 42% of you said no. And the final comment is, do you think British society, building, events, education, public's perception is accessible for disability nowadays? 6% of you said yes, 94% of you said no. Did we have any comments on that? Any comment from you? I thought we did. Did we not have a comment from you?
We had a comment about the racism in sport.
Yes. We will look into that. That's one of our mistakes. I will look into
that. But don't include all of us in our mistake. It was your mistake, darling.
I'll do a Facebook Live and I will do some comments on that. Let's do what we do best and start talking. So as you've just seen at the beginning of the show, we are celebrating Remembrance Day in all its glory. And we thank each and every person that's out there fighting for our lives. Thank you, and we salute you. But it did get us thinking a little bit this week, guys. Do you think Remembrance Day is falling apart a little bit? Do you think it's not as important than maybe 30 odd years ago?
No, I think it's still as important than it ever was. Definitely.
Because we've still got troops out there. We're still there's still wars going on. It's not finished. Just because World War One and World War Two are finished and that's it, doesn't mean that we haven't had these conflicts going on since. So I think it's important to remember who fought for us. I mean, I lost an uncle in Iraq about 10 years ago now, and it's when it comes to this time of the year, it's like I do remember him because he died to help his family, to make sure his family are free.
What about you, Kerry? Do you think it's as important as it was a couple of years ago? Is there a special person in your family life that you remember on Remembrance Day?
No, I don't. Not really, because I've never met anybody. There was people a long time ago in my family that fought in the wars, and I seen a grave over in Normandy when I went over there for someone on my granddad's side. It was like my granddad's granddad, I think it was. I can't remember. So you do, and I think when I went over there, that was for World War II, wasn't it, over there? But when I went over there, it was quite hard hitting. So as much as you can learn about it, and you still learn about stuff in school, it is very, very real what happened and what they done. Me personally, I think it's still very important.
Yeah, I mean, in another 30 years' time, the war in Iraq and that's going to be taught in schools, just like we were taught about World War One and World War Two. So what's going on now, even like the pandemic, that's going to be taught about in schools. So what we're doing, what's happening now, we are basically making history, because, like I said, in 30 years' time, they're going to be teaching about the Iraq War. They're going to be teaching about 9/11 in schools, just like do you think
the sign of the poppy brings us back to remembering though? Do you think like in our everyday lives, if you really think about it, apart from Remembrance Sunday, and I think that's the most important thing to the poppy for me, is that I see the poppy, I see it, and it makes me think. It makes me think about the people that are fighting for us, the people that have lost lives, the people, because the thing is, in everyday life, I forget about it. If I'm honest, I forget about the people that are fighting in wars, the people that have got family members over in Iraq right now that might not know if their family members are coming home for Christmas this year.
That's the luxury you have, Nick, isn't it? That's the luxury you have for the people that have fought, are fighting and will fight. You've got the luxury, or we have, of not thinking about it every day. And the poppy is a national symbol, international symbol, of not necessarily peace, but the hope of peace everywhere, even the categories.
Sorry, my cat does the same. That's exactly the same.
Sorry.
But do you think what I'm saying is, Mandy, do you think that's part of the reason of the importance of the poppy is because actually when it's in everybody's face, it makes you think, it makes you come forward to the front of your mind. Yeah. I know I'm a Christian, I don't want to go too far down into it, but every year we celebrate Remembrance. I don't know if anybody watched it last night on the TV on BBC. I watched the whole parade. I watched the whole, because I want to be part of it. I want to be supportive of it. And I think that's the whole reason for the importance of the poppy, is to be remembered and to be remembering, but also to remind us to remember.
It brings everybody's attention to it, even if it's only once a year. Everybody's attention is brought to those moments in history that have brought us to where we are today. And
not just that, it's you're buying a poppy, your money's going towards a fantastic cause for these people, these families, anyone that's been involved, that's been affected by it. So why shouldn't you, me personally, support someone from Great Britain, where you're from, for doing what they've done, for the families that have done what they've done, because not everybody will join the forces and go to war. So my hat's always off to those that are deployed to these places, and that have been deployed. So
moving forward for this show, then, we dedicate this show to every troop out there fighting for us today. Thank you so much. We take our hats off to you, and we look up to you, and we pray that you all get home safely. Moving forward onto this show, let's go back onto Lincolnshire. As a 12-year-old boy in the council care in Grimsby, good evening, Grimsby, can be given vaccinations for flu and COVID-19 despite concerns from his mother after a High Court judge ruling. A private hearing for the case was held in Grimsby High Court Family Division, with the report published this week. So the report reveals how the boy, who cannot be identified, wanted to be vaccinated, with his father and the council's bosses supporting his decision. But his mother was against it. So, Kerry, that got me thinking, do you think that parents should have a say when it comes to the COVID-19 injection?
well, yeah, parents should have a say for the children who are underage. Without doubt, if they should have it. But at the same time, when you've got two parents who are kind of in conflict about having it and not having it, there's got to be someone that's got to make a decision, and it has to be the courts. I don't think there's any other options, is there? I've had my COVID vaccines because that was my choice. If it comes down to making a decision on behalf of a child, then at least I can say I've had it and I support it. I've had no adverse reactions. I've read what I want to read up on it. I don't like all the scaremongering that I've read on it in social media. I don't want my children to read that, because if as an adult I'm reading it and I'm thinking, oh my God, look at all this information all on social media, and you're letting a kid read into that, you can't say, oh, have a look what all the papers are saying, have a look what everyone's saying on social media. How can they make up their mind on that? They've got to take some support from the parents. And I think, when it is conflicting, it's a bit like if you get divorced, two parents conflict, and where does it go? 9 times out of 10 it goes to court for the judge to make a decision. So if that's the only option available, then I agree with what's happened. But I've had it, and if it come to like where, right, your child can have it, do you want the child to have it? I'd go, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my.
Go on.
I've had my vaccinations, and my daughter had the chance at her school to have it done. She's 17, so I said I'll let her choose for herself whether she wanted it, and she chose to have it, and that was fine by me. So I to a point, I do think if a child can have a say, be like that the child opinion should be taken into account.
If I'm honest, I'm sick to death of it. I'm absolutely sick to the back teeth of it. And if we could turn back time now, and we had a chance of turning back time when this vaccination was first given out, I would have made it mandatory. Because to me, it's just, we don't think 2 pins about having a newborn baby and taking it to the doctor and giving it 7-8 injections that it needs to survive life, and make sure that it doesn't get measles or anything like that. And every mother and father takes their child under the midwife's guidance as well to have these injections. So
it's still a choice, Nick. You don't have to have your children have all those injections.
Yeah, but I think we're thinking too much about it, Mandy, though. Like, the thing is, if you went to Australia tomorrow, you won't think 2 pins are going to take the injections that are going to protect you while you're in Australia.
Yeah, I'll take it, but it's still a choice. I've had mine, but it still has to be a choice. Those that choose not to and then fall seriously ill can't really complain. Well, they do, but then they shout out and say, just take the vaccine. I didn't, and look where I am. Just take it.
Mm.
And like Kerry was saying, you know, the vast array of information out there, some of it totally bonkers. You know, I trust the science that we know so far. Like you've got different things on the media, you know. Do we know what's in the flu jab every year? We don't. It changes every year because they try and anticipate what flu's going to come. So it's not the same jab every year. You know, do we know what's in Botox? And there's plenty of people out there that I'm sure won't take COVID, but they'll have Botox stuck in the face and whatever, you know.
It's always controversial. What was the injection that this caused exactly the same response? Was it the MMR injection with babies? Was it MMR? Wasn't it?
Yeah, the mumps, measles and rubella, yeah.
That was it. It's always very controversial because you're always going to have two sides. You're always going to have two sides, aren't you? And like I think Mandy just said, and obviously Sam's had the injections. I personally trust what I'm being told, and that's it.
And the thing is, I get, Mandy, what you're saying about the two-sided. It's a choice thing. I think the thing, and I might have said this on a show before, the thing that's absolutely driving me mad is that I've decided, personal choice again, I've decided to take the injection. I wanted to take the injection. What I can't stand is I am not stood on a street corner going, I'm vaccinated. Can everybody else follow in my way? Because it's the best choice. It's the best. So what I'm trying to say is, why can't the other party be like that? Why can't the other party be, well, actually, it's my choice. If somebody asks you, that's an open question to you. Have you had the vaccination? That is then your chance then to say something. Well, no, I haven't.
Okay, so let's say in this instance, a parent goes, yeah, I want you to have it. The other one's, no, I don't. And the child doesn't get it, and the child falls ill, and something seriously happens to that child. Does the parent that said you're not having it get taken to court? You know, what is the outcome? What is the outcome? What is the outcome from that for a minor? I'm not on about an adult choosing not to have it and they fall ill. That's a choice because of the age. That's just how it is. But when you're having to make, and parents have to make lots of decisions for the children from like babies until they're 18 anyway, what are the repercussions of something happening like that? Other than having that like embedded in your head as a parent for, you know, feeling, oh my God, what have I done? Because my child's now got ill. You know, that would be a horrible thing to feel. But what would be the repercussions of that? But then I could also say, what would be the repercussions of a court saying, yeah, you have that, and then something happening from that. But that many millions of people have now had the vaccination. There's a real positive chance that there won't be anything that occurs after that. You can still get COVID with the injections, just not as bad.
Yeah.
But if you don't get it,
designed to do.
That's it, and that's with any injection, like you mentioned about the injections, about having them when you're younger, when you're kids, and that it's not about having them to stop you contracting any of those diseases. It's just about if you do get it, then you're highly likely not to have it really fatal to a point.
But when it comes to the injection, I think we should rule out the idea of that you are capable of making a decision and an adult by the age of 18. I think at a 12-year-old's point of view, a 12-year-old understands, knows what's going on, hears about it in surrounding news, is at home for 2 years homeschooling because they can't go out, they can't see their friends. I think when it comes to a parent's decision and one parent is saying yes and one parent is saying no, I would go directly to the child. If I knew that child was capable of making a decision at 12 years old, what do you want to do? And that child said to me, I want to be vaccinated, I would follow that child.
And what happens if that child is petrified of needles and that's the only reason they decline and say, I don't want it, or it's a needle, I don't want it.
It's not the child declining, it's the mother.
But you're saying you go directly to the child. Now a child could turn around and go, I don't want that because that's a needle in my arm and I don't want to have a needle in my arm. How do you compensate that?
You have to follow their decision, don't you? You have to. They're still capable of making a decision at 12 years old. I would never go to a 5-year-old and go, tell me what you want to do. But at 12 years old, you can make a decision. And based on this story, the 12-year-old is saying, I want to be vaccinated. And the dad is standing by her. The local authorities are standing by her. It's her mother saying no. Well, to me, that person is saying, I want to be vaccinated, so I would vaccinate. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let's move on. But it went to court because they were a minor, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's why. So they voted in favour, whatever. The judge said it in favour of the child wanting it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone's got to make a decision. This is what I've just said at the beginning. Someone's got to make a decision when you've got two conflicting parents who are saying yes, no, and the child's there as well saying yeah. Someone's got to make an overriding decision at the end of the day.
And that's difficult, isn't it? But let's bring it into our everyday life now. Let's bring the vaccine. I don't really, as I've said many times, I don't really like to talk about the vaccination, but we will, because it's been a subject in Lincolnshire this week, so we will. But would you be, as you know, this week we've had a big news headline about the NHS and people losing their jobs and if they're not vaccinated and stuff like that. But let's come directly at you now. So, panel, if you knew somebody was treating you in a hospital or a doctor or anybody on a medical profession and you knew they was not vaccinated, would you be happy to see them? Let's go to you first, Sam.
I think it would depend really. I mean, if that person isn't showing any signs of COVID, if they're wearing their mask and everything, they're taking their precautions with their PPE and all that, I wouldn't mind. But it's a hard one because like I said, I've been vaccinated, so I'm protected on my side. But if someone else I'm talking to who's not protected, I wouldn't want them to get too close. So I think it would just depend on the situation. I mean, like I said, if they were all got all their PPE on and everything, and they're all covered and everything, it wouldn't bother me so much. But I think if they've got a bit too close and they weren't.
Mandy, do you think the medical profession need to be leading by example on this? So do you think that when it comes to people medical, that they should really have no choice but to take the vaccination?
Again, it's choice, but if you're advised that the company policy is now, if you're not vaccinated, we have to let you go, then you have to let them go. And
it's the same at some places that you
can't then grumble that it's I don't know, it's hard. I mean, I'm vaccinated, my family's vaccinated, my friends are vaccinated, I've got people in the medical profession who are all vaccinated, and I don't understand why people don't want to, because the science is there to say that it's all okay. It was done fast because they threw a lot of resources at it. That a lot of people came forward for human testing. So everything was done, and a lot of the red tape was bypassed, I suppose, but not the science, not what they did, and not what's in the vaccine. Yes, it's probably got adverse effects for a few people, which is terrible. But any vaccination, any procedure, you go into hospital for a minor operation, you sign away that whatever happens,
And it's also like when you take medication, you know, when you take actual tablets and that, they still have side effects as well. So it doesn't matter what you put in your body, you're still going to have a side effect of some way.
So how would you feel? Let's put it more personal then. So Kerry, I'm going to come directly to you. As I'm very lucky because she always reminds me that I've got Kerry in my life as a friend. It's not just a panel member. But if you phoned me up, so let's take this by pure example. If you phoned me up and said, "Are you coming round for tea, Nick?" And I go, yeah, I'll come round for tea. Just to let you know though, Kerry, I've made the decision not to be vaccinated. Would you let me in your home?
I'd let you in my home, but you'd have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Now, because and the only reason being, I mean, I've just been thinking of this with the comments that were being made, is I'm not going to decline you're not coming in, but if I'm going to let you in around my family and it's in a close proximity, then I'd want you to wear a mask. When we say about people in hospital, should they be vaccinated? I agree that they should, because they are looking after vulnerable, ill people. The same with care homes. Care homes, they should be vaccinated, because you've got people in residential homes, care homes, who don't get out, who don't go to the shops like I do, who aren't mixing around other people, so their immune system isn't as good. Not just that, I go to Asda. I don't wear a mask in Asda anymore. My choice, we don't have to. How do I know who's been vaccinated or not when I go to the shops? I'm passing people in aisles. I'm being served by people. How do I know if they've been vaccinated or not? And I think in any way where it is to do with your health, we went to the dentist the other day. They were amazing. Mask, everything perfect. Anybody in that health sector should be following precautions, should be masked up, and should be having the vaccination. And I do, like Mandy just said then about, you know, if it is the business where they say you have to be vaccinated to be employed and do the job, then that's how it stands. If an employee then makes a decision of personal choice not to have it, then I don't think there's any other option but to let them go. And that's my own personal opinion. If I was working in that environment, I'd have it.
But let's be on the other side of the fence here then. Let's also shout for the other side of the fence. And I'm going to say to you then, on that based opinion, Kerry, we could be losing thousands upon thousands of NHS staff. We could be going into now a crisis of NHS. And actually, if it was personalised, if you became really poorly or one of your family members became really poorly and there wasn't enough staff to be looking into your family members or your child's or even your own personal health, would you then have a different opinion?
That's not is that even fact that, you know, we're going to be losing lots of NHS? Have you not seen the interviews from the actual NHS and nurses and doctors when they've been masked up for 24 hours? You know, people are in that job because that's their career. That's what they wanted to do. They want to look after people. So to have your interviews with nurses and doctors who were working through the highest point of the pandemic, I'm sorry, the others are going to follow suit because they're in that career for one reason, because that's what they love and that's what they want to do. They want to look after people. So I don't think personally, I haven't read up, I don't think personally we're going to lose thousands of NHS workers. They should be paid more for doing what they've done, because they've been thrown in there. They've been thrown in that for when that happens. And, you know,
that 1% pay rise was a bit of a kick in the teeth for them, though, wasn't it?
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Can I just say, it's not just like nurses and doctors that are affected. There's also paramedics, because a couple of months ago, I was having really bad chest pains to the point I couldn't breathe. So I dialed 999, and they said that they haven't got any paramedics free at the moment. It could take up to 2 hours for someone to come out to me with chest pains on my left side and I can't breathe. 2 hours. And I'm like, you know, if I'm having serious heart problems here, I could be dead in 2 hours, you know. So it's not just, it's affecting NHS as a whole already. You know, it's not going to. It's already is affecting the NHS already.
But Mandy, do we go back to my comment at the beginning then? Do you think maybe at the beginning of 2019, when the COVID hit us and the vaccination was given out, do you think now actually to separate these fighting parties and to not have this caused is to make the vaccination mandatory?
No, still got to be personal choice. We're not dictatorship.
Okay. Do you agree, ladies? Yeah, you do.
I think personally, I also think it's down to circumstances as well. You know, you've got people that are vulnerable, people that are elderly, then you've got like children that are vulnerable and all this. So I think it just depends on the situation, on the individual circumstances as well. That has a big impact on people's decisions with this vaccine as well.
I completely agree there. So Mandy, if it was affecting your life, so we're talking about this as it's not really affecting us at the moment. We're just four people with an opinion here. But actually, if you knew your child or your mum or were going to a job full of people that hadn't been vaccinated, would you have a different opinion then?
Not if my family had been vaccinated. Because it's if they get theoretically, then if they pass the virus on to my family or friends, it's not going to be as severe because they've been vaccinated. It's the people that are not vaccinated are the ones that have to be wary, because if they get it from one of us because we're carrying it and we're not showing many signs because we've had the jab, they're the ones going to get it and they're the ones that are going to be in hospital and they're the ones that might die. So,
controversial story, as you can see, four very different opinions on the vaccination, and it's shown as the worldwide four corners of the argument, really. But I'm sure we won't be quiet on it, and I'm sure it'll come up in Lincolnshire News again very, very soon. So I'm sure we'll have more of a say. But have your say. Do you think the vaccination should have been mandatory from the start? Do you think if you're seeing a doctor, a health profession, that they need to have the injection? And would you let somebody into your house that is unvaccinated? Or that? Tell us what you think and make sure you have your say. But slowly moving on to a slightly lighter topic. Let's get a little bit lighter here, ladies. We've got a bit deep to begin with. A popular competitive eater on YouTube has been paid to visit a pub in North Highcombe to take on the Cathedral Burger Challenge that was created with him in mind. I can't go over his name. Beard Meats Food, that's his name. Real name, Adam Morgan, has more than 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube and is among the most popular food challenge content creators on the platform. Mandy, going on the story of this and talking about fast food and food becoming somebody's life almost, do you think that stories like this publicised into everyday news is a massive health risk to the UK?
Not a health risk. I think it might be a bit of a idiot risk. I
think it's down to choice, isn't it? It's down to choice.
I'm really not interested.
We're not talking about choice.
No, I'm really not interested in that sort of story. To me, that's not news. You know, I mean, he's a YouTuber, fine. He's got all those people watching him, but it doesn't interest me watching somebody else eat something that can give them a cardiac arrest. So I'm really not interested.
I don't like watching people eat as it is. It's just I don't know. I just don't like watching people eat. I don't understand why people. It's like those that do the ASMR with the eating, and I'm going, oh no, can't listen to that. I don't understand it. I really don't.
But do you think we're mesmerised by worlds that we're not in? So, for example, I will go round to my mum's house, and sorry, mum, but she'll have something on the TV like too fat to walk, or enormous, can't get out the front door without a bulldozer sort of programs. And I go to her, Mum, why are you watching this? She'll go, it's a way of life. It's a way of life, Nick. It's a way of life. But do you think we are obsessed by seeing stories that we know that we're never going to be involved in? Kerry, let's go to you. Do you think it's an obsession?
I find lives interesting, full stop. So
yours is boring.
Mine's boring as anything. I've got no social. I have got a social life actually, but I haven't. But I think wouldn't it be really boring if we were all the same? I find it quite interesting to see how people live and the differences with regards to eating. Who's stopping me buying 16 packets of biscuits? That's a health risk, isn't it? So who cares if it's on social media with someone with 1.5? Hey, it's a good plug for this business, but it's a health risk if you open my biscuit cupboard. I've got a biscuit cupboard, a snack cupboard. Who's stopping that? Who's stopping the supermarkets? Oh, I would say who's stopping the supermarkets buying you like loads of one, but that was COVID, wasn't it? I go back to COVID. That's when COVID happened. They were stopping you buying.
That was probably one of the good things, is that everything was limited. You only had a set number.
Now I can go in and freely put as many crap food items in my trolley as I want. That's it. Like I said, like the two have just said, it doesn't faze me. It's quite interesting. I've watched programs like that before where the the like big bodybuilders and that, and they go around and they eat loads of like oh, it's disgusting. I mean, I couldn't face eating anything like that. I'm intrigued by it.
My mum I think it was my mum, when I went round to my mum's, she was watching this program, and it was called something like Fat versus Skinny or something. You got a big person and a really skinny person, and they swap diets.
That's a tube, doesn't it?
They swap diets for the week, and I'm going, oh God, how do they eat? No. I'm at one point I'm going, how do they eat so little? And then I'm going, how do they eat so much? So it's not just like eating too much, it can go the other way with it's not just about people eating too much. You do get people that eat too little as well.
Well, they are trying, aren't they? We've got to take our hats off to them. Like, if you buy a bottle of Coke, no, let's take Lucasade, because there's many more brands out there, just to let you know, but let's just take Lucasade as an example. Ray's wandering off every time I say that. But they've taken a sugar shortage, haven't they? They've cut a lot of sugar out of drinks and stuff like that, so they are trying to reduce our eating. But when you really think about it, when you go to the supermarket and you walk around the supermarket and you're at the weekly shops, which is the cheapest to buy? Healthy or unhealthy? It's always unhealthy. There's always offer on sweets. There's always offer on biscuits. There's always offers on cakes. There's always offers on this. And they say, don't they, never go to a supermarket on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
They tell you that.
I've made that mistake too many times. Usually end up in the ice creams.
But do you think we are turning into, Mandy, a nation of obsessors?
I don't know, really.
Can you tell me you never read the bloody email before the show?
I'm in your little bubble. I like watching these programs, yeah, but I mean, are we a nation of obsessives? I mean, everybody obsesses about summits, don't they?
Do you think anybody's obsessed by you? Do you think anybody's obsessed by you, Mandy Stannard?
Sorry?
Do you think anybody's obsessed by you?
I should hope not.
Right. Let's go back to the story. So the cathedral burger consists of 2 beef patties, southern fried chicken, barbecue pulled pork, steaky bacon, fried onion, chili jam, and melted cheese.
That's streaky bacon, not steaky bacon.
Mary, let's go to you. Does the health secretary need to take action and even make rules about how much we eat?
Is that me?
Yeah.
No, they bloody shouldn't. That's just ridiculous. No, you just need to just control what you're eating yourself. Simple as that.
But to be fair, like any addiction, there is food addiction.
Yeah.
The
thing is, I mean, I have.
Let Gary go first, and then we'll come to you, Sam.
Okay, so you go out for a drink, an alcoholic beverage, and the barman turns you away saying, you're too drunk, you can't have any more, right? So how would it feel for you come into a place where I'm serving food and I turn around to you, Nick, and go, you've already had 2 of these cathedral burgers, mate. I think, you know, it's not going to go good on your waistline. You know, you might have a cardiac arrest. I'm not going to serve you anymore. How bloody stupid. I'm hungry. I want another one. Then no, because if you're saying that, they're going to have to implement it through all. It's what I'm saying. Implement that through all your supermarkets, and you can only buy 2 of each thing. It's never going to happen. It's a silly question. I'm not saying any more on it.
Oh dear. I mean,
the thing is, how do we then handle it? Because we are being matched now to America on fast food, on people eating fast food, people becoming clinically obese. So where do we start? If we just let people decide and people have food obsessions, and we see more and more of UK going downhill on being obese, where do we tackle it first? Where do we start?
I mean, when you was on about like food addiction in there, I mean, I have binge eating disorder, and I have addiction to certain foods, and to get around that, I'm having to I use I've actually got a year membership for this CBT app. So, you know, I think a lot of it is to do with, you know, rewiring what's going on up here. And the CBT has helped me, and I'm looking at food in a different light now, and it has helped me with my binge eating. It has helped me with my addiction. So I think a lot of it, I mean, people just say, well, you know, just don't eat it. I mean, that's like turning around to an alcoholic, here's a drink for you, but you can't drink it.
Drink it. But when you're saying that,
like me with food, it just doesn't work. So I think a lot of it is to do with,
where's the help? How do people know where this help is? Do you know what I mean? How do people realise
I've had to pay for this myself. I've had to pay for this CBT myself.
Right.
Because the NHS doesn't cover it.
Really?
Yeah. I've been under a dietitian, and I've been under a gastroenterologist. And they're like, oh yeah, you know, they've run tests and everything, and says, oh, we can't find what's going on, so we're going to put you back into the care of your doctor. And I'm now back in the care of my doctor with both of them. So I've now got to wait for my doctor to get back to me. In the meantime, I'm doing things myself, paying for this CBT myself, which I could get on the NHS, which would help me, and it is helping me, but they're not really bothered about that. That's something that could be brought up to the health secretary, you know, start, you know, offering things like CBT for people with eating disorders in general. I mean,
that's where it should come from then, like that. But what Nick's saying is you can't stop businesses stopping to serve food. You can't do that way. And if it is from the health secretary, and it will cost, it's going to be down to a funding thing again, isn't it? So when would they implement anything like that? Maybe a crisis point, I don't know.
I mean, it'll come under mental health, but the mental health care in England, as we all know, is massive. Yeah, that's something else.
Controversial question. Let's give it to you, Mandy. Do you think that the UK are basing themselves and relying on fast food, and it's running the country better than the UK government? So your question is, do you think the UK are basing themselves and relying on fast food? And do you think they are running the country better than the UK government?
In other words, Donald McDonald running UK better than the government.
Yeah, because the thing is, when you think about McDonald's and you think about KFC and everybody like that, they get to the nation a lot quicker and get people really listening than the UK government do.
Yeah, but they don't put any money back into the UK government because all the taxes are taken offshore, so no.
Yes. What do you think, Kazza? Do you think there's an element of belief there that actually fast food are a bigger voice than the UK government are today?
When they've got an offer on an advert, they've got a big voice. I'm straight round there. Saves me cooking for the night. I'm in my car and I'm off.
I think that's exactly what Nick is saying though. You know, when they've got special offers, the special offers get to people before anything that the government does. So they're quicker at getting information out than the government.
I love getting a discount email. Discount emails, 25% off if you pick it up. That's me, I'm done.
Tell us what you guys think at home. Do you think as a nation we are relying on fast food too much? Do you think the voice of fast food is bigger than the voice of the UK government? And are we intrigued by stories that don't affect our lives, but we're a little bit interested in what they have to say? Have your say. Remember, you are the 5th panel member out there. Make sure you have your discussion on our social media platforms. We finish on quite a remembrance topic. I thought that we need to get a remembrance topic in, really. So we're going to talk about the UK's national anthem. As a TikToker tried to describe that the national anthem should be changed to the song There's a Hero Comes Along by Mariah Carey. So I did a little bit of research on the national anthem. The British national anthem in its present form dates back to the 18th century. The words and tune are by somebody anonymous, and the date backs to the 17th century. God Save the King was turned into God Save the Queen and performed in London in 1745, which came to known as the national anthem at the beginning of the 19th century. So Mandy, do you think it's still important to be singing God Save the Queen? And do you think it still has an importance as it did all those years ago?
Well, I've written something down, Nick. So
wow.
All right. Because it's Remembrance Sunday, and if you ask anyone in the forces, they serve their king and country. They don't think they're heroes. We might think they're heroes. They don't think they are. It's their job. And if you ask them, should we change it to a pop song, Heroes? I think most of them will tell you where to bury yourself. You know what I mean? It's they serve king and country, and we sing the national anthem at times like, you know, today, and it's a remembrance. And I'm a royalist, and I think it stays. I just think if you ask anyone in the forces, they serve for their king and country. To sing that as a national anthem for everybody to just raise their spirits, you know, that's my opinion.
Patriotic, isn't it? That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, they do it at the beginning of sports as well. When, you know, when they do football and rugby and that, they do it at the beginning of sports events as well.
Yeah.
So, and that becomes like a big thing as well, because people are proud to support England, and I think that's why people, you know, sing it, because it's pride.
Of course,
they're proud of being part of England, and they're proud of where we're from.
The only thing I'd suggest if it was going to be changed would be only throughout December, and it'd have to be changed to Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I would sing that through December. Come January 1st, if that can go back to God Save Our Queen.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'd say. And I think I'll try and get it up on YouTube quick. just so you can all have a blast, but I can't.
I can't. What a shame. Randy, but if you going on what your comment is, then the British standard is to sing the first 2 verses of God Save the Queen. Can you stand there as a British person and say, you know, word by word, the first verse and the second verse?
No, I don't know any of it. I only know God Save our gracious Queen. Long live our gracious Queen. God save the Queen. I don't know any of it. I just love the rousing music. I mean, it's a pop song's a pop song. An anthem is not a pop song. You know, why don't we go to the Eurovision Song Contest and pick one from there then? You know.
We're flying the flag. All those years ago. Kerry, do you think in the year of 2021, though, we need to be modernising it so it can relate to everybody? This was first written, going back, as I said, in the 18th, 17th century. Do you think that we need to be modernising God Save the Queen?
Modernising for what change exactly?
Well, to relate to our young people as well, to relate to people that would want to listen to it, that would want to learn it. Do you think? Because the thing is, we're always talking about in the 21st century about moving on, about change. Let's embrace change. And not everybody, we're constantly shouting that on the rooftops. Older generation, younger generation, you've got to embrace change.
We have enough thrown down our neck through media about change for all different types of people, and we could change every single time someone stands up and gets on the soapbox and moans about something, whatever it may be. No, I don't think we should change the national anthem. It's patriotic, it stands for being British, it stands for all of that. I'm happy with that. I wouldn't want it changed. So you might just have someone who's like, well, I don't like it. I don't give a crap if you don't like it. How many more?
Can I just apologise for Kerry's language there?
That wasn't a swear word. That was all right.
It's not a pop song. It's not supposed to be popular for the pop.
No, I'm not saying a pop song, but maybe modernising the tune. I'm not saying that it's going to turn. Let's change the words. Let's modernise.
Can you imagine like someone like Eminem doing a rapping to it? That's taking a little far.
We're heading against a brick wall with this panel tonight.
Imagine
anyway, within the next 5 years, 2 years, a year, it'll be good. It's God Save the Queen. God Save the Queen next.
No, imagine the footballer singing Beyonce and doing a few moves as well. It's never going to work. It's never going to work.
Come on, Kaz, do it one more time. What is it?
No, because I just forgot to say it. So no.
Do you think, let's go to the final question. Oh my word, I feel like this is bloody hard work tonight, honestly. Sam, do you think we've lost the importance of the royal family over the last year?
I think as a nation, I think there's got a lot of people that have lost interest in the royal family. I mean, I think, particularly the younger generations, they're good for representing, they represent our country, they go out there and they know they're representing our country. So I do believe that as a whole, people are losing interest in the royal family. I mean, Americans are more interested in the royal family than the British are. I mean, there's so many Americans that are royalists, it's unreal. And it's just a shame that it's like other countries are more interested in our royal family than our own people.
But have we lost interest, or is it just we're used to them? I mean, I wouldn't say I like having a country that's got a royal family. They're not supposed to be political. They're not basically political. It's a figurehead for the country. It's a anchor as well. If we don't have a royal family, what makes us different to any other country?
I just can't get it out of my head now, and I'm trying so hard not to laugh. I just can't get out of my head the Queen doing Beyonce. and the royal.
Oh my God!
And the royal.
Or even Prince Charles. Or even Prince
Prince
Charles. Can you imagine Prince Charles stood there going like this?
Just trying to make that out.
Or Camilla.
Yes.
Or even Camilla.
Yes.
Yes. Halfway there already, so we're fine.
Beyonce, you cheat.
Ladies, unfortunately, that brings us to the end of this episode of Loosely. I still think I'm recording. I don't know what's happening. I still think I'm there.
You're still recording.
Have you also, do you think the monarchy and the royal family are still important in the year of 2021? We need to be modernising it and giving the power to Beyonce, of all people, to give us our new, or maybe even Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
No,
Or Eminem, like I said, Eminem doing a rap to it, rapping it. That could be good.
You have yours, so thank you for joining us. Carrie, before we leave, I hear that the next time we see you will be on our Christmas Eve special. Am I correct?
Quite possibly. I need that much of a break before I come on again, yeah.
Christmas Eve special. Just to remind you, we do have a Christmas Eve special this year. It will be on all our platforms at 9 o'clock on Christmas Eve. Make sure you watch it. It's supposed to be the funniest episode yet, so we'll see what happens. But can you thank my panel for this evening? The woman that has finally done a little bit of research to the show and has thrown me off key completely. That's Mandy Stannard. The person that will always have a smile on her face, that's Sanjay Hitwell. And the only person that has ever dared to say, what a bloody stupid question, that's Gary Gillespie. Join us next week where we'll have a lot more fun. Make sure you have your say on our polls and share the show. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night, God bless, and we'll see you soon. Take care, bye-bye.